thanks for what you do with your podcast and all the rest. You're doing a great job. Hope everybody keeps tuning in. You get a lot of good info, a lot of insights, understandings of how to get strong, how to stay strong, how to use your strength.
You do a great job, dude. You make things better than they are in real life, I think.
If you don't follow Massenomics, y'all do it. Social media, website, everything.
Massenomics.
Welcome back, everyone, for episode 351 of the Massenomics podcast, the lifting podcast about nothing, recorded live from western northeast South Dakota and southeast South Dakota.
Eastern southeast South Dakota.
Eastern southeast South Dakota. Is that what we're going with then?
I think that's the proper way of naming it, I believe.
Okay. So this will be recorded live from western northeast South Dakota and eastern southeast South Dakota. Okay. Now that we've got that out of the way, this is, if you're tuning in on YouTube, you might notice something different. We are in Studio 6.9 right now. We officially had retired Studio 6.0 with episode 350 and 351. Here we're kicking off Studio 6.9. How does it feel?
I'm wondering, this episode Studio 6.9 might only be this week, right? Because I think we'll officially be on Studio 7 next week, right?
Yeah. So maybe we should get, if you just consume the Massenomics podcast audio only, if that's what you've been doing for years and years and that's all you're ever going to do, some of this is actually kind of irrelevant because I don't think you really won't know the difference. But if you are someone that watches it on YouTube, you'll see something this week.
Or you're a Discord member and you stream the first 30 minutes.
And watch it live.
I shouldn't say Discord member, a Massenomics supporting crew member, and you stream the first 30 minutes live every week, then there's some changes in the air.
You have a different experience. So what would you describe the video presentation that we have right now on
So right now, I'd just say it's kind of like, I mean, it's not Zoom, but it's kind of like a Zoom call. We're stacked at the moment, or side to side, depending on how you have your device set up. But that's basically what the format will be to an extent going forward. But because this is our first remote podcast since COVID, since the very first time when COVID hit in early 2020. We had a couple months of that, but it's been a long time. So we're kind of getting back into the swing of things. Tonight's all about experimentation. It's like we're in college again, Tanner.
Yeah, we're trying a different live stream approach, or I don't know, app, or the way that the supporting members, the way that they watch live. We're trying something different than streaming through the Discord. So we'll see how that goes. And then also, as far as our video presentation, we have some things on the way to improve this really soon, right?
Yeah, we've spent a good chunk of money on getting a pretty banging stream. I mean, you're going to think we're streamers, and we're not even going to be podcasters. We're just going to be like Twitch streamers, hopefully starting next week. We have all types of lights coming, some better cameras, all types of stuff. So I think that hopefully a week from now, my studio won't look like I'm in the middle of a move. Tanner's is always going to look like he's in a t-shirt warehouse, but that's totally fine. So yeah, I think there should be some big changes visually coming next week, hopefully.
Yeah, some fancy lighting stuff. So the Massenomics Fulfillment Center is really going to get a facelift, isn't it?
It is. It'd be Fulfillment Center 3.0 now, I think.
Yeah, that's true. Or maybe 2.1.
2.1, yeah, that's probably a better way to do it. Yeah, I think lighting probably doesn't justify a whole new number, so it's just an incremental change.
Right. Is that how apps and stuff work? Is that what they do?
Yeah, usually the big number is like the major releases, and then the incremental, like adding lighting, video, sound quality, that'd be like the incremental changes. The dots would go on there.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, so it's like an app. We're like a living app, basically.
Right. So you are talk about your move then, I guess. You made the move. We're not sitting in your basement. I could tell something felt different. So
yeah.
Do you even have a basement anymore then?
I don't have a basement. I have an upstairs, but I don't have a basement, which is really, really weird because we are almost permanent basement dwellers. But not me anymore, which is sort of sad. The move went. It was stressful. It was stressful at times because you just start to think you're done, and then there's just more shit. Like the number of times you're like, "Yep, all right, this is it." And then, oh no, we forgot about this room, or we forgot about this closet, or we forgot about this pile in the garage, or just the number of times that comes up is so much. And at first we looked into hiring a moving company, but that's not cheap. And so I'm like, I'm kind of cheap, and decided, nope, we'll do this the U-Haul way. And of course, you reserve the U-Haul a month in advance. But in Western Northeast South Dakota, I don't know if that's the world's busiest U-Haul hub. So of course, on the day that the move is going to happen, our U-Haul is not there. The people that were supposed to bring it didn't bring it back on time, and the nearest U-Haul is about 100 miles away. And this is like throwing a major wrench in the plans. It was very stressful. Eventually, to speed this up a little bit, instead of getting our U-Haul at 9 a.m, we got it about 5, 6 at night. So instead of having a whole day to pack the U-Haul and then a nice, easy next day to drive, it was like, no, you'd like pack in the dark, in the cold as much as you can, and then get up early and try to do it the next day. And it all ended up working out. It worked out fine. But man, loading a U-Haul truck, you get pretty stressed. There's a lot of things where you think, if this isn't packed right, there's enough valuable things in here that it would suck if this broke. Like when I've moved before, especially when you're in college, it's like all of my stuff is kind of shitty. Like it's kind of broken already. Like, outside of well, I have like a laptop or some video games. Like, let's not break those, but you can put those in a backpack, so it doesn't really matter. But you're like, oh, our furniture, it's stained, it sucks, it's broken. Right. Like there's nothing to really damage. And not that I have a ton of nice stuff, but we're at the point now where we have some furniture that costs some money and some different decor items and things that it would suck if they broke. So there's just a little more anxiety with all that. Luckily, the only damage, I haven't unpacked everything yet, but the only damage I found in the entire move was somehow the bottom side of our mattress got like 2 or 3 inch cuts in it, which is totally fine. Doesn't affect that at all. And like one flower pot got completely destroyed. But other than that, everything has been like spot on so far, which is pretty shocking. I really was not expecting that at all.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I was there at your house right at the time, like when the U-Haul wasn't there.
Yes.
It was kind of like, what is going to happen?
That was not a fun. Yeah. That was not a fun time.
I was just thinking, we kind of put the cart before the horse. Are you familiar with putting the cart before the horse?
Oh, I am, and I know exactly what cart and horse you're referring to here.
Well, I actually am referring to 2 sets of carts and 2 sets of horses. First,
the
first one I want to talk about second, so the second one I'll talk about first. So we'll come back to the first, if that's all right with you, but first the second.
Yeah, of course.
This is the Strength Company. We've set out to build a better barbell plate on American soil. We ended up here at Wisconsin's legendary Wapaka Foundry. With over 60 years of ironworking experience, the foundry had the knowledge, technology, and processes to build our weights to our exact specifications. The Strength Company plates are slim but rugged, smooth but easy to grip, and electro-coated for durability and to look great in your gym. This is the next generation of American iron, only available from the Strength Company.
Thank you, Strength Co.
Thank you.
I just busted out some Strength Co. plates today. You probably didn't get to, Tommy, and we can get more of that too. We'll have to put that like some 3.
I was really reminiscing about the Strength Co. plates today.
Yeah, I would
missing them.
Bet you're missing them.
I was.
To check them out again someday.
We're going to talk about that more in a little bit. But
yeah. And
should I read an ad?
You check out an ad too. And for the people listening along live, we are still checking out the comments on Discord. We're both keeping an eye on the comments on Discord. And I would say for the video presentation, that's more of a live stream. Stream symptom that you're noticing right now. YouTube video presentation should be up to snuff, especially as we make improvements here going forward. But that you'd be experiencing. There's making jokes about us being an 8-bit. That the new shirt will be 8-bit Tanner or 8-bit Tommy.
Yeah.
But I think the final product you'll notice will still be.
God, I hope so.
Yeah. Actually, we don't know really, but that's why we're testing this one.
Yeah, we're kind of guessing at this point.
Yeah.
What do we know? All right, I'm going to tell you about our friends at Swisslink. In 1995, Maurice Big Mo Huffman founded Swisslink. He had a partner based in Switzerland, and their mission was to bring authentic Swiss Army goods to the United States and into the hands of those yearning for quality gear at uncompromised prices. Over the years, that mission expanded to nations across Europe and beyond. Now, for nearly 3 decades, Big Mo has been traveling far and wide in search of the best items from military forces around the world. Big Mo doesn't only find authentic military clothing for Swisslink, he brings in everything you can imagine from Czech Army bedpans to Italian champagne glasses. At Swisslink.com, you can find right alongside those classic military surplus uniforms, a great selection of military issue backpacks, tools, wool blankets, NATO fuel cans, gas masks, emergency food, first aid kits, survival packs, camping gear, and so much more. Swisslink's unrivaled collection and dedication to quality customer service sets them apart from the rest. Treat yourself to the real thing with authentic military surplus and save 15% off your first order from Swisslink.com with code MASS, M-A-S-S, at checkout. Thank you, Swisslink.
Real life example here. I just got a special delivery from Swisslink this week. I ordered a couple of those wool blankets for
and
Christmas
they showed
presents.
up.
And they showed up, and there was a giant "Cool Beans" written on the box. So you know it came
awesome.
from Swisslink. And
Was there authentic military bloodstains on them, or were they clean?
yeah, these are combat hardened wool blankets. And then I also ordered a cool. It's like, you know how you'd roll a blanket into like a roll, and then it's like a leather carrying strap for like a roll.
Oh blanket. Yeah, real decorative like.
Yeah, it's like makes it decorative then at that point. And gonna give those out as Christmas presents, and a great idea. Some other people in the some other supporting members were talking about doing the same just this week. So I think there's still time. I would also say this: very fast shipping from Swisslink.
And you're a guy that knows something about fast shipping.
That's right. That's exactly right. And the second, the first thing that we put the cart before the horse on, which I'm bringing up second, is some weather we've been having, huh?
Oh, okay. Luckily, I've mostly missed that. I will say down here, there is a lot more snow to start with, but it's been raining for the last day and a half. So that's really knocked it down. I think you guys are sitting much worse than me right now.
Yeah, they made it extra sloppy for us. They apparently knew how we like it extra sloppy up here because
I know how you like some sloppy.
Because old Mother Nature's made them extra sloppy for us right now. It's kind of a sloppy mess. It's I guess we probably haven't talked about this, but what I'm driving right now is a 2-wheel drive pickup. Yeah. With old tires. So it makes some of the getting around kind of interesting, but it also makes me realize, like, when people say they can't get places within town, I'm like, yeah, you can, because I'm driving like the worst possible vehicle, like outside of like a low profile sports car, and I can still go wherever I want.
I have,
if I'm careful.
If you listen to this podcast, I've been a Malibu driver for, almost 10 years now. And there's never really been a time where I'm like, this Malibu is the thing that's restricting me from getting from point A to B. The only time that it's ever an issue is like when the snow is like 6+ inches deep on the road. Then it's just a clearance issue, but it's going to be an issue for most people at that point, unless you are actually driving a truck.
Yeah. So this has been some weather, and you're trying to actually make it back here this week.
Yeah.
So
I'm supposed to close on a house on Friday, and as of right now, supposedly our interstate is closed.
Yeah.
Probably shouldn't believe it until I actually drive there and see it, if the road's actually closed. You got to see to believe. But yeah, supposedly right now I can't even get on the road that takes me home. So I don't know if I'm allowed to close or if someone can sign for me or how that works. But Details.
Big Chris in the Discord brought up a good point. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But the pickup I'm driving is awesome right now for whipping shitties. Me and Jack have been going out actually, and just for the sake of whipping shitties. I mean, you could just like with the road conditions right now in that pickup, you can just whip shitties till the cows come home. It's fun. I feel like I'm on Tokyo Drift everywhere I go.
Yeah, get the rear wheel drive truck, no weight over the bed, bald tires. I mean, what more could you ever ask for? That's a drift machine.
Like one of those drifting video games where you just like all you do is like see how long you can hold the drift. That is what driving this is like.
Yeah, and it's a stick, so you have supreme control over what the engine's doing.
That's the other fun thing. I guess I didn't talk about that. I've drove different manual transmission vehicles over the course of me owning vehicles. My first vehicle was a manual transmission 2-wheel drive pickup actually also, but it's been a while since my daily driver has been a manual transmission vehicle, and it really does change quote unquote driving, where it does feel more like you're driving the vehicle because it's so much more of an active process rather than like how passive driving can be at times, where you're like, oh yeah, I don't even really know how I got here. I just hopped in and now I'm there.
I don't really remember looking at anything on the road. Was there stoplights? Like what was going on?
Right. And like the pandemic of texting and driving. The biggest cure for that, in my opinion, now would be making every vehicle be a manual transmission, because I'm like, you like driving through town, especially if it's a lot of stopping and going, and you don't have like the faculties to be able to text and drive while you're doing
people
that.
would find a way.
Oh yeah, I would.
It wouldn't actually solve it. It would just get driving would just get that much more dangerous. It's like, it's harder than driving a stick? Driving a stick with a phone in your hand while you're trying to text at the same time.
Yes. Yeah, you have to get creative. Then you can actually steer and shift with your off. I can actually do it with my offhand.
Really?
Where I can steer like this. And the only reason I know that is because if you're watching on video, you can see what I'm doing, steering with my elbow and shift with your left elbow. Cross hand. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I know that because I took the kids all out in the vehicle the other day. So it's also a regular cab. It's a regular cab, short box, step side pickup. So we were sitting 4 wide.
When you say regular cab, like there's only one.
Yeah, the window is, you tap the window, sits right behind your head.
Yeah. There's no backseat of any kind at all.
Which is funny because that used to be what pickups are. And now you have to explain what you're even talking about, because it's just, they don't even make, that's so rare that you even see a newer pickup that's like that.
Now they're just giant luxury cars.
They are
once a year go to Home Depot. Like
they're $70,000.
I know.
like new pickups are so expensive.
Weren't we just talking about this though? Like,
yes.
You could show up anywhere in a new sports car, and people are like, geez, look at money bags over here.
Old money bags.
Anyone can show up in like a Ford Raptor. Like you can see Ram TRXs around town. Like you can
Ford
see
Platinum pickup. They cost like
a GMC, or a GMC. Whatever Denali package they have, and these are all like between $60,000 and $100,000, and people are just like, nah, it's a truck, whatever. Like, no one thinks twice about it. But if you were to show up in a sports car, people are like, whoa, what's going on?
Yeah. The run of the mill, Ford, GMC, Chevy, 4-door, Toyota, any of those, the run of the mill, like the average price is, I don't know, is it like $60,000 for a new one? Like that's not even
I think.
Or can you get like 50s?
I think you can get in like the mid 40s, like new ones. I mean, they make like the work trucks that are a cheaper trim, but no one buys those.
But I was gonna say that's even a grade below just average. You know what I'm saying? Like I would just think like the base model as far as a Chevy was like an LT. Like just crazy expensive. But what you said is exactly right. People would be like, oh, look at this guy showing up in a $65,000 car. It's like, all your pickups cost more than that.
Yeah, every single one of them.
Yeah. So are we going to talk about actually, wonder if we should play a little game.
Oh, we got games?
Should we mix it up? Yeah, we might be in a new studio, but we still got some old favorite games here.
We're going to get the can thing figured out too. We're just on. We actually didn't even plan. We planned on not even recording one this week. And then we thought, hey, you know what? We both got time. Let's do it. So this one, as of like about 24 hours ago, wasn't even going to happen. So that's why things are a little
we
not totally in place.
But we, just for the sake of like starting to figure this out and fine tune it, I think it's worth just getting going and trying again. And I think 352 will be the better for it, and every other subsequent episode will be from there on.
We're just investing into future episodes right now.
That's right. And that's just like you listening. Like, I think I made a meme about it this week where it was ripped off one of the Immortal Barbell cartoons, like we like to do oftentimes, and where it's like, why do you listen to the Massenomics podcast? It's like, to get strong, to stay strong, to use my strength. The other guy's like, I don't know. Like, I just feel like I have to because I have so much time invested. I can't not listen. That's where you guys are all at listening right now. It's like, you just have to stick around to see what happens next. Yeah. But I don't know, like, now that you're a Fancy Sioux Falls guy, if you'll remember how these games work, or if I have to refresh you on rules, but we'll do our best. The first game we're going to play is a little thing called Has He Seen It?
Oh, okay.
So have you been watching a lot of movies now that you've moved to eastern, southeast South Dakota?
My TV watching has actually been incredibly low since I got here even. So I'm even more behind the ball than normal.
On that note, my TV watching for like the last 2 weeks has been almost zero. And a large part of that is because of A, us moving this podcast and getting that set up. And then B, just the high volume of people ordering from Massenomics.com over the last couple of weeks. So needing to pack those orders every night, which is awesome. So thank you to everyone that has been ordering, and ordering from our new drop too, right?
Yeah, it's actually, you know what? We did well, God, this is going to be 2 weeks from now. We normally don't get this far out.
Yeah.
Because normally we could talk about how the drop's gone, but I'm assuming at this point that the kind of fit, kind of fat shirt is probably gone. If you're listening
even as we speak, I think it's gone in like X, 4X, 3X, 2X. By the time this comes out, the kind of fit, kind of fat shirt might just be gone altogether. We probably, hey, this is one advantage of what we're doing now. I can just look around and tell you what we've got, because I've got a lot of orders to pack right now. Actually, I've got for those watching, these are all these are all thank you cards that have been written. So these are all orders that need to be packed. Probably like like after we record tonight, I'll probably knock some of these out. So these are some of the perks that you guys are going to have from this new Studio 6.9 is getting like a sneak behind the look peek at some of this stuff. But pennants, that's what I was getting at. Is all this pennant, all this kind of fit, kind of fat talk, and I forgot about the hearkening of the pennants. And
yes, of course, the hearkening.
Yeah, so we should still have some pennants available for sale. We ordered a whole pile of those. So check out our pennant flag. Very reasonably priced too, in my opinion. I don't know.
Very reasonable.
And we're, like you mentioned, we're a couple of cheap guys, and we think it's reasonably priced. So it's fair. It's fair, right? And then the last thing, I'll hold that up too, is the free calendars, the free dashboard calendars that we've got. We're giving those out free with every order as they come in, but I don't know, by the time this comes in, these could easily be gone.
And part of the problem is you put 15 on your own dashboard, right?
You probably need one of these to spice up your new office, I would guess.
That actually is the missing piece. Well, I was supposed to be in town tomorrow to get some of this, but I might have to get these put in the mail if I don't make it in the next few days. And
you brought up what's in the can, and I do think we can do that. I've been thinking about our options there, and I think like part of it, I could even do it in bulk. Like I go sometime and I pick out like 3 or 4 of them.
Oh yeah, we just send it and just like always. 1, 2, 3, 4. And this week's number 2.
Right, totally. Right. Yeah. So we've got ways to be able. We don't, because this one was kind of a spur of the moment episode. We don't have that figured out yet, but we will have that going forward too. But all that to say, has he seen it? Last week we did 1989. We went back in time a little bit. This week we're going to go back forward in time, so we're up to 1998, and I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 for you from 1998. How are you feeling about 1998, Tommy?
7 from 98. I feel pretty good about saying 4, but do I want to push it and say 5? No, I'm going to take it easy. I'm going to say 4 this week. I think I got 4.
Okay. I do have one from 1998 that we're just going to pull off the table. You know how we do that sometimes.
Of course.
For anyone that's listening along new, what has he seen it is just where Tommy lets us know if he's seen these movies from whichever year we're picking. And I wipe some off because they're just straight up gimmies. And the one we're going to wipe off from 1998 is The Waterboy. It is not on the table.
Yeah. Yep. That's a fair one to wipe off.
Okay. So 1998, I got several good comedies in here. I would also say this. I think you're going to score highly this year.
Okay.
I picked a lot of ones here that I just could not pick them because I want to talk about them. So, but I think that you've seen a lot of them. So, first, have you seen it? Basketball.
Oh yeah, I've seen Basketball many times. It's Trey Parker and Matt Stone, the South Park guys. Like, what's not to love about that movie? Oh, and they got Real Big Fish, the band playing in there, man. Oh, there's just so much great stuff in Basketball.
Take on
yes.
me.
Yep. That classic cover. Yeah. Basketball's amazing. It's a good, and I think it's like, I actually watched it not that long. I watched it a few years ago, and I want to say it was like 2 hours long, maybe a little longer, which shocked me that movie needed to be that long. But yeah, hilarious movie. It's awesome. What's it? What they call is it Squeak Little Bitch? Is that what they call him?
Yeah.
Squeak. And they're like, I swear, if you guys rag on me like 5 or 10 more times, I'm gonna quit. Like,
I'm out of here.
Man. Yeah. So funny.
I haven't seen Basketball for a long time. I would actually like to watch that. I mean, I probably haven't seen that for 10, 15 years.
Yeah, you can now especially see a lot of the South Park influence in it when you watch it. It's super funny.
I'm sure.
Yeah, squeak Little Bitch Scolari. Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Yeah, it's good. Okay, so that's your 1 for 1. Good start. Okay, have you seen it? Half Baked.
Oh yeah. Yes, Half Baked. I mean, it's just a dumb stoner movie, right? It's
Yep.
Yeah, I've seen it. It's been a little while. That movie used to be on Comedy Central on TV. I feel like when I was in middle school, that movie was like permanently on Comedy Central during the day, all the time. So then that was probably actually the last time I saw it too.
Okay. I figured you'd be yeses on those ones. Next one, I'll give it a coin flip. Have you seen it? American History X.
I have seen American History X.
Oh, geez, you're really going to score well because that would be one of the ones I could have went either way on.
Oh no, Edward Norton. Like, yeah. I mean, the whole point of that movie was just to show the problem with him being a Nazi and all the problems it's getting him into, right? It's been long enough. I'm having a hard time remembering some of the details, but
I've never seen all of American History X. So do they curb stomp someone in that movie?
Yeah, I was gonna say there's that gruesome scene in the beginning with that whole thing, and yeah. But I want to say, yeah. I mean, I know I've seen it. It's been a long time. Like I'm having a hard time remembering. I want to say the whole point of it was to be like, no, this is the problem with being a Nazi, but I can't remember it good enough to actually say that for sure. I think it won a ton of awards though, didn't it?
It won an award for best movie ever made.
Yeah.
Okay.
The Highlander.
3 for 3. 3 for 3. Boy, this could almost be a clean sweep year for you, which has never happened.
Here we go.
Let's see though. Number 4, A Night at the Roxbury, 1998.
Oh God, yeah. Okay, basically, if the movie was associated with Saturday Night Live in any way, I believe I've seen it because I was huge into Saturday Night Live about this time. I could not get enough of that. You know, YouTube didn't exist then. You wanted funny videos, you either had to watch comedy, Not that actually there's that many funny videos on YouTube, but if you wanted anything to watch something funny, you either had to watch a comedy movie or you had to watch Saturday Night Live or Mad TV even. And
I like Mad TV.
I did too. They're probably what's the most classic skit on Mad TV? Stewart?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Let me do it. Yeah, that
whole probably
thing.
is Stewart. What else would it be? Like, was it Will Sasso? Is that the one guy's name? The bigger guy? Am I?
That's Will Sasso. God, who else was on Mad TV? I feel like there were some other big names, and I cannot remember any of them now.
Yeah.
But
Mad TV.
Night at the Roxbury.
That's interesting.
Yeah. Boo! Boo! What is that? It's an ambulance because the sound of you stopped my heart. No, the sign of you stopped my heart. And then he's in the bedroom with the girl, and his brother can just hear him doing that over and over. Yeah, it's just the whole thing. Me, you, me, you, me, you, me, you. You want a muscle triplicator bar? He's like, nah. And then he's like, what about this one? He keeps like saying all the protein bars with their one buddy. Yeah, classic.
Yeah. Okay, 4 for 4. Number 5, The Big Lebowski.
Oh, yes. Actually, just watched this one, I think last year on Christmas. We got done with Christmas, and everyone's kind of sitting around. You opened your presents. You've ate food. You've done a little drinking. Time to wind down. Watched it with my parents. They'd never seen it, and they were enjoying it. They thought it was pretty funny. And that is an all-time classic.
The Big Lebowski, if you said you hadn't seen that one, that's one that people would go like, oh, come on, for sure.
Oh,
right?
I know. Especially, I feel like we've made references to that show multiple times on the podcast, haven't we?
Yeah, I think so. You know what my hot take on The Big Lebowski is?
Let's hear it.
Well, I first of all, I really like The Big Lebowski, and I've watched it, I don't know, like 10, 15 times, a ton of times. So I'm a big fan of it, but I think it's overrated. I think that it's grown a following like beyond like what it's worthy of, maybe even.
I mean, I think it depends on what circles you ask it in. Like diehard movie people, it does have that cult classic status. But I still think now it's, a movie from the 90s. There's, I think, a ton of young people that are like, I have no idea what that movie is. There's just no way that meant, I don't know. That is a tough one. It does get hyped up a lot. I still would probably say underrated, but I know what you're saying. It does get a fair amount of hype for being a weird sort of nonsense movie from the 90s.
Yeah. What, the hype that is good right here is you being 5 for 5 with 2 to go. So we're going comedy again here. Action comedy here on number 6.
Okay.
Have you seen it? Rush Hour.
I have. I've seen... I think I've only seen both of the Rush Hour movies once. And I think it was maybe in theaters... Because I love Jackie Chan, too. As a kid, I thought anything Jackie Chan was in was so cool. But... yeah, I mean, I would really struggle to tell you any of the plot points of the original Rush Hour other than Jackie Chan fights a lot of people and Chris Tucker is like running around chasing Jackie Chan, basically. I don't know. I just cannot tell you much about that movie.
I've seen it for sure, of course. I don't remember very much about it though.
Oh, there's 3 Rush Hour movies, I guess. Okay. See, I only knew of 2. So what's that say about it, I guess?
I have no idea what the difference in any of them would be.
Yeah, I just remember a lot of fighting and yelling, and it was action. I wasn't concerned about the plot when I was 8 or 9 years old. I just wanted something crazy to happen.
Yeah. Okay, 6 for 6.
Oh,
last one. This is kind of worth all the marbles.
Sweep
this is a lot of pressure right here.
There's a lot of pressure.
And this last one is a blockbuster movie that I feel like I know we've talked about, and I assume you've seen it, but there's something in the back of my mind that's telling me maybe you've actually said you hadn't seen this before, but I'm changing my mind. You had to have seen this. Like I'd be surprised if you hadn't. So have you seen it? Armageddon.
Oh, I have seen Armageddon. I remember going to Armageddon in the theater, and at the time being like, so what was that? What did you say? This is 98?
Yep, 1998.
Okay, 98. I would have been 9 years old. I remember at the time thinking, that's the best movie I've ever seen. That movie was absolutely crazy because as a 9-year-old, you're not watching a lot of movies with like that blockbuster drama thing going on, you know? I thought it was the most dramatic thing I'd ever seen. I thought it was so crazy. And as a 9-year-old, thank you, Small Mini, for reminding me, I was in love with Aerosmith, the band. I thought Aerosmith was so awesome, mainly because of watching Wayne's World. I got introduced to Aerosmith. So I'm thinking Aerosmith is so cool. They do the soundtrack for it. Oh, I thought that movie was amazing. And I don't think I've seen it since the theater, and I'm not sure it really holds up at all.
I haven't seen it for quite some time. Actually, though, how did I already forget the guy's name? The guy, the
well,
big
it's
black
definitely
guy.
not Ving Rhames. Isn't it Michael something?
Yeah.
Michael Clark Duncan? Was that?
Yeah, Michael Clark Duncan. There you go. Yes, there you go. We talked about that like a few weeks ago, and
we did.
I already forgot
very
what
recently. Yeah. Yes.
For
Damn, was that
anyone
a clean
didn't listen
sweep?
to that episode. Yeah, 7 for 7. 7 for 7. Unheard of.
That I guess you could say I'm kind of a movie guy deep down.
Yeah, we're starting to learn maybe after all you are a big movie guy. I'm excited for next week, 1999. I'm excited to see what 1999 brings us.
I think you're going to struggle to find movies that just everyone hasn't seen. You might have to go kind of obscure to beat me.
That's
I don't even want to say
like
I don't even want to say any of the movies because I don't want to ruin it, but there was a lot of I think a lot of people agree 99 was maybe the best year of all time for movies.
Yeah, like even 1998 here, it's like, well, all those I said were pretty, like almost any of them, if you're like, I haven't seen that, it'd be like, really? You didn't see that one, huh? Like, how did you not see those?
Mm-hmm.
But
hitting my stride.
We'll stay
really
tuned next week.
Coming into my own.
Yep. Okay. Well, I guess that answers the age-old question. He has seen it. Okay. Well, let me hit you. I want to tell you about our friends over at SPUD Inc. That's spud-ink-straps.com. Head over to their website. They're the boys in black and yellow. You're probably familiar with them by now. They got the straps, wraps, everything else there. What else they've got that I really like that I think is pretty cool is their gateway gear. They've got their gateway briefs that they've had for a while in their single-ply and two-ply options. And now more recently, they added the gateway squat suit with Velcro adjustments. So obviously we're not multi-ply experts over here, but what this is,
we're hardly single-ply experts.
Yeah, we're hardly single-ply experts. What this is something
like we kind of are, but just barely.
Yeah, we're just at the very bottom of what you would still consider an expert. Like we're expert level, just like 4.
Like there's the expert list, and there's all these names on it, and our name is on it, obviously, but it's pretty down far on the list. So.
But you're talking about the single ply list, right? We're not.
Yeah, single ply, of course, single ply. Yeah, everyone knows we're not multi-ply experts.
Yeah, but single ply, yeah, we know quite a bit about that.
Single ply, people know where we stand on that. They know how we sit there.
When you think Massenomics, you think, cool beans,
Plies.
Western, Northeast, South Dakota, and single ply expertise. So if you do want to dip your hips into the dark side just a little bit, check out the Gateway Squat Suit. It costs just a little over $100. It's got the Velcro adjustments. Also, something pretty cool. If you spend over $75 or more at SPUD Inc., you get free shipping. It'll ship to you for free. And make sure to let them know that the friendly faces over at Massenomics sent you. Thank you, SPUD Inc.
All right. Is it my turn to fire away?
Yeah. Hit him with your best shot, Pat Benatar.
Well, here we go. Today's show is also brought to you by Bearfoot Shoes. Most shoes harm your mobility by over-restricting your foot's natural movement. Bearfoot shoes are designed with minimal restrictions so your feet can move the way they're supposed to. Move with more strength and confidence in every step. Bearfoot Shoes was founded by Chris Duffin, who attributes proper foot biomechanics as foundational to his success in squatting and deadlifting over 1,000 pounds for reps. He helped create the company to provide a minimalist shoe that can be worn for anything from deadlifts to walking your dog. Go to www.barefoot.shoes to check out the best minimalist shoes available. Use code Massenomics to save 10% on your next order. Thank you, Bearfoot Shoes. Should I tell you about my gym experience?
Yes. That is what the people have been dying to know, what life is like outside of Massenomics Gym.
All right. Well, let me just say I've been to the other side, and it's pretty scary. So I did, just out of the sake of convenience, I have visited a gym because there's one quite close to my house. And is it the best gym in the area? Definitely not. Is it the most convenient gym in the area? Yes, because it's the closest. So will this be my permanent gym? I don't know right now. It's my gym for right now, though. So we're going to roll with it. But this is my first time coming out of the basement in what was the number? 6 years?
Yeah, 7. 7.
7? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, man, commercial gyms, they are weird. It's a whole different culture, lifestyle. Man, it's like I'm getting introduced to the world of lifting again for the first time. Like, you go in there and the place is nice enough. It's new and it's got all the same cardio stuff. It has an Echo bike. It has rowers, or it has Concept 2 rowers. It has the Concept 2 skier thing, which I'm never going to use. It has some of the, not the freeform runners, but the whatever, one of the other brands that have, those style of treadmills. Like, it has that same stuff that the gym has. And then, like any commercial gym, it has basically any machine you could ever want, which is fine. I still don't use the machines much, but the squat racks are nice enough. I can't complain about the squat racks. We lifted at Massenomics for years with not the nicest squat racks, and I've never really thought that was an issue. Like, so that's, I mean, it's hard. A squat rack has to suck really bad to complain about it. So no problem there. The bars, not the best, but again, I don't really know, unless the bar's super whippy, which I didn't go heavy, so I don't know, but on deadlifts, the knurling's not super aggressive, so that's a bit of a problem, but still not the end of the world. Now, what maybe was the biggest offender for me, and people love to hate on 35s, but what I think, we're fairly pro 35 around here. We don't have a problem with 35s. What I actually think might be the worst plate in existence is the 45 that's not the size of a 45. Like, have you ran across these ever?
Yeah.
It's a 45 that's
like where they're
like
smaller.
between.
Yeah.
It's like between the size of a 35 and a 45. Like, it's just marginally bigger than a 35. And I cannot believe that any company has ever thought it was a good idea to make that plate. Like, that makes no sense to me.
Yeah. That is the worst plate. That's worse than a 35, hands down.
Oh, it's terrible. It's terrible. They're bad. So there was even multiple times I caught myself loading the bar incorrectly because I'm like, I don't know, the 45s and 30, and the number of 35s around is insane. Like, most gyms don't, in my experience, have like maybe 1 or 2 sets of 35s. There's just 35s peppered everywhere. There's more 35s than 25s, and I do not get how that works out. So then you're just constantly confused about what size plate you're loading out of the bar. So that's whatever. The benches are wide enough. There was some of that Legend Fitness equipment, and I think they make a pretty decent product for the most part. So the benches are fine. Definitely way more slippery. The width I'm fine with, but they are way slicker than what I'm used to. There's no driving your shoulders in and sticking down like that. That's not a thing. But so the equipment's a little iffy. And then I guess I should say one more thing, Reagan, on the equipment. No deadlift jack of any kind. And then the only because you can't deadlift with those 45s that are the wrong size. That's super annoying. So then there are actual deadlift platforms. There is the really chonky, like crumb rubber 45s that are for real, probably 3 inches across or 4. Like they're big. And then after you put that on, then, you could put your miniature 45s on after that. But I don't know if it would actually be possible in this gym to deadlift. Like 5 plates might be the max you could ever deadlift there. Like that might be it. So that's why I can see there could be some potential problems on the horizon. But for the time being, I am probably going to tough it out for a little bit. But now what the commercial gym life has really opened me up to is the number of you just get used to Massenomics gym where even the people that aren't strong still know what they're doing. Even the people with bad form actually don't have bad form. Like everyone,
right.
Like, and no one has bad form. No one has bad form. There's maybe people with less than ideal form, but you can maybe even chalk that up to individual differences. Like, no, that's just works better for me. And then you go somewhere else and like, damn, okay, actually, most people have really bad form here. Most people have no clue what they're doing, like borderline dangerous. Like this just looks bad. I got to give people credit. I always remember when we went to a commercial gym, it seemed like everyone benched all the time. Like that just seemed like that was what you did. I did not see anyone benching. It was a lot of high school guys, and they were all trying to do squats and deadlifts. Like I got to give them credit for that. They were spending a fair amount of time, hitting up the dumbbells with curls and raises and things like that. But I do got to give them credit for people putting in the effort on squats and deadlifts. I do not remember that being like a thing 8 years ago when we were in a commercial gym seeing that.
Maybe that's a little bit of a shift though in like the last 8 years that like it's just maybe people had like Gen Pop has figured out a little bit more about like, oh, maybe I should squat and deadlift a little bit. I might still not know what I'm doing, but maybe I should do it.
I think you might be right though. I think that has changed probably a little bit over the years. Like that people have woken up to the idea that, if you want to go to the gym, like you can't just bench, or you shouldn't just bench every day. You can bench every day, but you probably shouldn't. You should mix some other things in with it.
I think it's an interesting point that you brought up about like when you compare it to a place like Massenomics gym, because what you're saying is right. I didn't really think about that, but like even the people that maybe aren't quite as strong, like they're still kind of doing a pretty good job, and like they're getting stronger over time in almost all cases. And like technique wise, like you said, like it's very rare that I watch anyone do anything that I would say is quote unquote bad technique. There's a lot of variance in technique, but you don't see anyone doing anything that I'm like, oh, that's they're going to hurt themselves. Like I don't ever almost see anything like that. I can't recall the last time.
Right. And the number of guys that I could see that were, they're with their buddy and they're trying to like, it seemed like there was a lot of guys that were actually lifting for the first time because they were talking about like they were trying to deadlift with just the 10-pound bumpers on the end. And I have no problem with, everyone starts somewhere and I have no problem with that. And we've said this before. I'd rather see any day of the week someone squat with an empty bar than to someone squat with like 3 plates and do a quarter squat with like their knees caving in and doing nothing. Like there's nothing impressive about that. Like good movement is always more impressive than really, really shitty movement patterns, like moving weight incorrectly. Like that's not impressive and that's not going to get you very far. But there was even still a lot of guys that it seemed like they were in there deadlifting for the first time in their life because they have their buddy talking them through it. And there's like everything's wrong about it. And you're like, oh, like give me 5 minutes and I could help you. But also, no, I don't want to do that. And I don't think you want that either. So you just let them go on their way. And I don't know if they stick it out long enough, they'll figure it out, right? Everyone does eventually. Yeah,
I think so. They will. Or they'll probably just quit like in a couple weeks.
Yeah, I think that's the more realistic thing. And I was wondering, it's the middle of December. Are people jumping on their New Year's resolutions early? Is that what's going on? I'm not sure.
That's possible. That's also something we're shielded from at Massenomics Gym. The New Year's resolution thing has never really been a thing. Like there's no wave of people that come for that. And like the gym doesn't really get busier. It's kind of the same all the time.
Yeah. Massenomics is very insulated from that aspect of the fitness world.
Big news though. Did you know that somebody commandeered your old locker? It didn't sit empty for long.
I was going to ask about that. Yeah, who's got it?
Big Caden jumped all up in that business.
That's like a penthouse suite having that locker up there.
Yeah, it's kind of we were actually talking about it's like the hierarchy of lockers at Massenomics Gym because Caden used to have we have a small cubby of lockers where the lockers are actually smaller. They're just smaller squares. And he had one of those, but he had one of them in the top section before. So yours opened up. So he went out of the top section of the small cubbies, went into your big top row blue locker. So then someone in the bottom of the cubbies went up to Caden's old cubby spot, and now the very bottom row of the small cubbies is the only opening, I think. So It's kind of there is a bit of a hierarchy.
Yeah, that top row of the blue lockers is without a doubt the best lockers in the gym. You don't have to bend over for anything. It's right there. You can see in it easy. They're big lockers. Those are the ones to have.
Some people like the top row red lockers because the red lockers are a little bit bigger, actually.
Oh, they are?
They're
Oh,
in
God.
farther.
Shows how much
if you look like it's they're just a little bit bigger. Like they're actually taller. Like it's sits up higher than our blue lockers do, but they're in farther, closer to the TV. So there's a little bit of a trade-off there, I think.
Wow. Well, either way, Caden definitely came out ahead on that one.
Yeah, big time. Big time. Any other? Did you see any? Did you get to see any Massenomics gear at the gym down there yet?
Believe it or not, I didn't. And I wore my Massenomics shirt just the whole time, waiting for someone to be like, "Oh my God, you're one of the Massenomics guys." But yeah, unsurprisingly, that didn't happen. Yeah, I guess there's always next time, huh?
Yeah,
one of these times,
it's just a matter.
One of these times, someone has to. I mean, there's people in Sioux Falls that buy our stuff, so there's people around that know what it is. It's just only a matter of time.
There's for sure other gyms in Sioux Falls that if you were wearing that, it'd be much more likely for someone to spot it too, I would assume.
Yeah, it'll happen eventually, though.
How about a little supporting our supporting members segment? Are you familiar with that still?
Oh yeah, I was kind of missing that segment. I was hoping we'd get some of that in.
Yeah. I've got a few of them here that I want to hit on, actually. And what this segment is we have our supporting members of the podcast that choose to chip in a little bit every month to help this ball keep spinning around over here at Massenomics. And we like to give back to them. We give back to them in a few different ways. One of the things is they get to listen along live to the podcast each week, like we got some people doing now. There's a discount code that they can use once they first hop on our Discord. They get access to the Discord, a big old family of like-minded individuals in there. And last, of course, not least, is each podcast episode we try to give back to a little bit to a few of them through this supporting our supporting member segment. So we pick out some things that they do. A lot of times it's lifting PRs or meets, but sometimes it's other completely random life achievements that we give them props for. But for this week, we want to shout out Big Brad did his Juggernaut AA mock meet. He hit a 295 squat PR, a 255 bench PR, and a 415 deadlift PR. PRs across the board.
Nice.
Then, yeah, big Luke Lovelady. He competed powerlifting meet this last weekend. He hit PRs across the board also. 491 squat, I type out fat fingered his bench, but it was a PR bench, and a 579 deadlift. It was a 1389 total for Big Luke. Then we've got Big One Arm Herc, who did a USPA meet, and he hit a 402 squat, a 325 bench, and a 512 deadlift for a 1239 total. Then we've got Big Daniel, who he was the one that submitted our sack segment, I think, last week. Big Daniel had a 590 squat PR. It was a Virginia State record, a 435 bench, a Virginia State record, and a 639 deadlift for a monstrous 1665 total for Big Daniel.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Then we've got the Toms, and I'm not talking about you, Tom. We're talking about Big Tom Schneids and Big Tom Schwartz. They competed together. These guys did? In our last contest, these guys were in the crew that got in on something. It was the drink spotter thing, I think, where they're going across the gym and they got a whole bunch of them.
Oh,
I think they were both in on that. Yeah.
Yes, I believe you were correct there.
Yeah. Okay, so Big Tom Schneids hit a 589 squat, 379 bench, 644 deadlift for a 1606 total, and he won the 100 kilogram class with that. Big meet right there. Then
Did he? Okay.
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
Which one had the lift sweater on?
That, I think, is the seventh. I think that's Tom Swartz,
Okay.
who he did a 523 squat, 374 bench, and a 584 deadlift for a 1482 total and won the 82.5 kilogram class. And I think he was wearing the Lift Ugly sweater, right?
Yeah. Yeah, very well dressed. Both very impressive totals, but one might have won the best dressed
big
award
time. Those guys aren't screwing around, are they?
No, they're not. They're putting some numbers up for sure.
I think it's probably because they're supporting members and longtime Massenomics fans. I would guess that's
Yeah, I think that's how it works.
to
If you support
do with it.
you support long enough, and your total just goes up exponentially.
Yeah, it makes sense to me.
So if you also want to experience those great benefits that all those guys had, you just go to massenomics.com/join, and you too can become a supporting member. There's an option for everyone's budget. And once you're in, you get a Massenomics discount code, access to the Discord where you can watch the podcast live the first 30 minutes, or in the case of this week, the first 58 minutes and counting, and lots of other benefits. You get to have the inside track on what's going on, and you can also be featured on supporting our supporting members.
Yeah, can't afford not to do it, can you?
No, you really cannot.
Okay, we do have I do have a special underrated, overrated plan for this week.
You do.
Do we want to do that? We've got a few other topics, but I don't know if there's anything we have to do this week. One other thing though on my list is just what I've been noticing is supporting our supporting members. As long as we're talking about it, they've really been flooding in this last week or two. Really had a lot of new faces join the party.
Yep.
I like
a lot of new
seeing that.
recruits, new pledges.
Yeah, and I'm just crunching some numbers right now. There's 3 spots
Tanner's
left.
number machine. Tanner's number machine was going crazy there.
Yeah. Ding. 3 spots left. So make sure to get signed up now before all 3 spots are gone.
Yeah, do it.
Exciting
Do what he
news
said.
there. Okay. So we have overrated, underrated. And let's see. This is going to be a special edition. This is going to be a special overrated, underrated of Eastern, Southeast, South Dakota edition of overrated, underrated this week.
Okay. You're kind of acting like I'm a local, and given that I've got that I've been here for 2 days and all I've done is move furniture, and then it's been stormy and I haven't really left the house yet, but let's take a crack at this.
Yeah, we'll give it a go here. We'll go overrated or underrated Falls Park.
Wow, Falls Park. I have not been there in many years. I had an aunt that lived here when I was a kid, and we'd always go to Falls Park, and it looked very different at that time. I'm not sure that I have been there in the last 20. I probably haven't been there since I was 8 years old. So it's really hard for me to say. It's kind of a pretty hyped up tourist destination in the Sioux Falls area. That's for sure. It's actually, if there's going to be a picture of something taken on the eastern side of the state, if people are going to use promotional pictures of South Dakota, it's going to be like this: Mount Rushmore, the Badlands, the Black Hills, and then and also there's the eastern side of the state. So they'll do the Corn Palace and Falls Park. And then, we need to represent the rest of the east side. So let's do a picture of a cornfield. There, we've gotten the entire east side of the state represented in photos. It's probably a little overrated. I will provide some follow-up on that, but it's probably a touch overrated. Maybe I'll be more impressed when I actually see it again. Have you been there lately?
Yeah, we take the kids there a lot of times when we go to Sioux Falls. So I've been there probably 3 times in the last 4 years, maybe something like that. And it's pretty good. I do get the logic of it could actually be overrated, but it is overall pretty good. And I think right now, with it being Christmas time, they have 30 miles of Christmas lights put up there or something like that. 30
really?
feet of Christmas, everything's all decked out for Christmas. I don't really know I haven't been during that, but I think it's a big deal.
Yeah, we'll probably have to take the kids next week. I'm childless at the moment. I'm just like living a bachelor lifestyle here, which is, man, you want your perspective on time to change. Have a wife and 2 kids and then not have them for 3 days. It's like time doesn't matter anymore. There's unlimited time to do whatever you want. It's crazy.
Yeah. I don't know what that feels like anymore. Okay.
Cool. I do miss them though.
Overrated. No, but it's fun to joke. That's not as funny to say. Like, it's more fun to talk about. I was like, oh, what do I do with all this time?
Yeah.
Okay. Overrated or underrated moving companies?
This is a very hard one to say. Moving companies. God. I mean, if you have a job that's going to pay for your moving company, I'd think would be awesome. Like, to take a good chunk of the stress out. Still got to pack a bunch of shit, I'm assuming, but to not have to worry about the transportation side of it and the packing into the truck part of it. Oh, that would just be a load off your shoulders. But they're not exactly cheap either. I think they're underrated. I think I think you can afford it. I think you would feel pretty damn good about it. So I'll say underrated.
Okay. Underrated on the
Having said
companies.
that, I've never used one, so I can't actually say from experience. I'm just saying from a hypothetical point of view that if you had the money to do it, it would be worth it.
How about
not even the money to do
U-Haul?
it? I'm so torn on that too, because they're overrated in the way that like you can reserve a U-Haul, but then when you go to get the damn thing, it's not there. And you're like, what the hell did I reserve? What did I put my money down for if it's not here? So in that way they suck, but they do have it. It is pretty slick in the way. Like, I got to say, a 26-foot Ford, well, I think it's like a, whatever the hell they are, 26-foot Ford Triton V10, whatever they got, that thing drove pretty damn smooth. I was fairly impressed actually how nice that thing drove down the road. It really sucked the gas down, that's for sure, but it drove pretty well. Are
you thinking about trading in the Malibu?
You know, I was kind of crossed my mind for a second, but something about 5 miles at the gallon just doesn't sit quite as well. But they do have a pretty slick automated, I got to give them props for this. I feel like U-Haul feels like an old school company to me, but when you get done with the damn thing, you take it back and you can do the whole check-in on your phone. You take like a picture of like the inside of the truck, the outside of the truck, where you parked it, the gas gauge, the odometer, and they charge you for like fuel based off of if you filled it up to the correct level and all of this. So you don't got to talk to anyone. I mean, it is fairly slick, and they're actually really cheap. They are cheap. So I do think they probably are underrated, assuming that they can actually hold up their end of the bargain and get you the damn reservation when they say they're going to.
Yeah, it's funny. When I went over and you were explaining the reservation issue, and my first comment was, that is a Seinfeld episode, and Big Matt
and I didn't know what you were talking about.
Yeah, he just posted in there the car reservation, because it is the episode, and he goes, and the lady behind the counter says, "Sir, I understand what a reservation is for," and he says, "No, I don't think you do, because I made the reservation." And now you don't have the car. The reservation holds the car. And like, it's funny because that's exactly what that's your identical scenario.
Yeah, that was my whole point. I'm like, okay, I paid money. Yes, I paid money to reserve this a month out. I get it if it's less than 24 hours or whatever, but I paid money a month out to say, have this here at this time. Like, that was what my money did to like hold that spot in line. And then I even got a phone call, a text, and a voicemail and an email all the day before saying, this is to confirm that your reservation is still on for tomorrow. You got nothing to worry about. And then when I get there, is it there? No, it's not there. And it's like, why is this happening? What is the point of the reservation? So, yep, I totally relate to the Seinfeld bit. I got to watch that now.
Yep. You will look and you'll be like, oh, this is, I mean, it couldn't be something more relatable. It is the exact same story. Yeah. Okay. So next one, overrated or underrated? The Sky Force.
Ooh.
The Sky Force. Or, and an extension of that, the Developmental League.
So, well, when did they change it from the? Okay, wait. Is it the D League? Is it the G League now?
Maybe it is. I thought it it might be the D League now. Maybe it used to be the G League, or maybe it used to be the D League and now it's the G League. But D was always, I thought, because it's the developmental league.
Yeah, it's the G League now. I don't know.
Okay. Maybe Skyforce is actually bumped. Maybe they're not in the same that they were before, but I think that they are. I can't actually even remember who they're a feeder team for.
We were actually just talking about this the other day. Yeah, they still are in it. They are a feeder team for the Miami Heat, which, like, why is that the case? No idea.
Well, obviously,
I don't know.
we're so close.
Right. Yeah. Let's pick the closest thing we got. Miami. I actually want to get to a few games this year. I don't think have you ever been to one before?
Oh, no. I've been to one before, but I can't remember. I was really little. I can't remember what it's like at all.
Yeah. So that's what I do. I do need to check that out. I was kind of looking at their schedule and they do have some coming up here. So I might, but my boy, he will not care at all. I'd literally have to go by myself because there's no way I'm going to get a 2-year-old to sit through a basketball game. So who knows? Maybe I won't make it to one. But the G League, overrated or underrated? I mean, I think they're probably underrated, right? Like, no one really rates that highly, do they? Is there people that get excited for G League games?
I would imagine their attendance there is pretty low. I'm just guessing, just speculating, but I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, but I would assume their attendance is like way lower than our, D2 basketball team in Western.
There's no way they're getting. Well, they played in the Pentagon here, which I don't even think holds that many people. They can't have more than, like, I don't know. Do they get 1,000 people at a game, you think?
That might be a stretch, I'm guessing. Maybe they do, but that could be tops.
Okay. I need to go do. You know what I need to do? I need to go, like, this weekend, go to a G League game, get done, then go to Falls Park, and I can report back on both of those to you.
Yes. That's good. Okay, last one is worth all the marbles, of course. Let's usually save the most important for last. And I think you're going to have an opinion here. Overrated or underrated? Slim chickens.
So old Flying Ryan helped me move. And when he was leaving, he goes, I think we're just going to swing through somewhere on the way home. Because I'm like, I'll take you guys all out for dinner. It was late. They're like, nah, we need to get back. We're just going to swing through somewhere. And I heard him mention something about Slim Chickens. And then I take the U-Haul back. And actually on the way to taking it back, I go, there's Slim Chickens over there. I might have to look into that. So I did. I had to pop in and I was impressed. I thought the food was pretty good. I don't even know a thing about it. Is it like a big chain? Are they in a lot of places? I'm just looking at this right now.
I don't know the answer to that either. I think there's like several of them in Sioux Falls, if I understand it right.
Yeah, it looks like they're out of Arkansas.
I haven't had it before yet.
So I was pretty impressed.
That's right.
The people at the drive-in were very nice. They were very excited to see Bernie. For some reason, you get Bernie, he pops his head out the window to drive. He barks at you like he's going to kill you, Tanner. And you put him in a drive-thru and he just sits there with his head out the window and it's like the world's friendliest dog. It's like, what in the hell? Like, this doesn't make any sense. Like, we go to these places and you don't care at all and you're so nice. But everyone in the drive-thru was super cool. They were helpful. I didn't know what I was ordering. I'm like, how the hell does this work? And they were telling me. And I didn't go with I think their signature is like their chicken tenders and fries and all that stuff. I feel like I need something with a little more substance than just chicken tenders. So I went with the chicken club sandwich and it was pretty good. It felt, didn't really feel like fast food to me. I was impressed. So I will say underrated for Slim Chickens.
Okay. So you didn't go with the tendies then. You opted out of the tendies.
I did not. But on that same line, if we're talking chicken restaurants, I would also say Chick-fil-A is overrated. Like, I think it's good, but I do not get the hype that people have for that store still to this day.
Yeah, I agree. It doesn't. I don't know if it really does it for me. I'm not sure about
it's fine, but when I see how insanely busy it can get around lunchtime, and like people lined up like crazy and how people freak out for it, I don't get that hype at all.
And does Chick-fil-A they don't have wings, do they?
No, they do not.
Yeah, that's definitely a strike. Yeah, that's kind of a strike in the negative column for me. No wings, no flats or drummies. You don't have to pick because we have neither.
Nope. Nope, you don't got to worry about it. Oh, and I guess Slim Chickens does have wings. Yeah, I didn't even I didn't even bother to order those because I have had a lot of wings lately, actually. So I need to follow up on their wings too.
I heard they're small. You have to give me more details on it, but I've heard from a few sources that they're undersized wings.
I'm sure they're fast food wings. They got to compromise somewhere, right?
Yeah. You know where? Oh, let me add up the totals. Yeah, it looks like you passed actually.
Oh, well, you know what that means.
Cool beans. Cool beans.
I earned them, right?
Oh. Thank God. I was worried you forgot to pack the cool beans down there to take with you. Thank God you still have
beans
those.
Got packed. Cool beans got packed. Nothing to worry about there.
Thank goodness. I was really worried. I'm like, oh, maybe you went far enough south. They're not cool anymore. Maybe they warmed up too much.
Right. Yeah. Well, you guys have all the cold weather up there. We don't have that. So, but yep, I saved just a little bit.
Down in the southern part of the U.S., Sioux Falls.
I was looking. You know how close I am to the Iowa border? Like maybe 4 miles. Did you know that?
No.
Yeah, like I can look on a map and it is, you can count the squares of land to the Iowa border, and the Minnesota border is not much farther. Minnesota border is probably less than 10.
Okay. But usually, like the way you'd go on the interstate, it would take you a lot longer to hit Iowa.
Yeah, it kind of dodges Iowa the way the interstate is, but yeah, if you look at Google Maps, you're like, damn, that's the state line there? That doesn't make any sense.
Right. But I suppose it's part of Iowa that juts out a little bit.
Something to think about, Tanner. If what?
Well, it's part of Iowa that kind of juts out then a little bit more, or what? How is it so close?
Yeah, that very top northwest corner of Iowa does cut into, it makes that dip in the state there, and that's about where Sioux Falls is, that little dip. So that's right where Iowa is. It's really not far away at all.
Okay. All right. You know what? Speaking of things you can count on, like cool beans, you know what else you can count on?
What's that?
Juggernaut AI. Just like Big Brad, who we talked about in our supporting members segment here just a little bit ago. Big Brad did his Juggernaut AI testing day. And he hit PRs in all 3 lifts, squat, bench, and deadlift. He'd been running
Who'd you say?
Big Brad had been running that Juggernaut AI.
That's right.
He hit PRs in all of them. And we've seen that same success story from a whole bunch of people. And we both use Juggernaut AI. Part of what we like about it is how it customizes to you over time, how it helps you address weak points, how the fact that it's kind of just like an affordable coach in your pocket, that we're getting a level of coaching that you don't get from a free template or even a paid template from like a comparable price. So good stuff from Juggernaut AI. Check them out. When you do, make sure to go to the website. It's juggernautai.app. And that's where you want to get signed up if you're thinking about getting signed up, because that's where you can use our discount code, which is Massenomics. And that will save you a whopping 10% for the lifetime of your membership at Juggernaut AI. juggernautai.app. Discount code Massenomics.
Yeah, baby. Okay. I should probably pull up my sheet here. And finally, what everyone's been waiting for. This episode is also brought to you by Texas Power Bars. Buddy Caps first started lifting weights in the late 60s and began powerlifting in the mid-70s. At the time, he was working for Image Barbell, building gym equipment. Around 1976, a local machine shop started making Olympic bars for them, calling it the Image Bar. In 1977, Image Barbell became Champion Barbell. It was then that Buddy started looking at the bars with an intent of changing them for the better. In 1979, Buddy bought his first lathe to begin addressing the known issues. In 1980, his passion, drive, and purpose now had a greater mission. Buddy set out on his own to make what he believed was the greatest bar he had ever seen and trained with, and the Texas Power Bar was born. It was strong as a house with the best knurling and was maintenance-free. Hundreds of state, national, international, and world powerlifting records have been and continue to be set and broken on the Texas Power Bar. To learn more about Texas Power Bars and buy one of their legendary bars, visit texaspowerbars.com.
Thank you, Buddy Caps.
Thank you.
Do we need to talk about anything else this week, Tommy, or should we kind of bring her on home, do you think?
Well, this was kind of our first experimental podcast. Yep. So hopefully it doesn't sound shitty. I did realize, full disclosure, this is again talking about the video side of things over here, Tanner. Did it ever cut out on you or freeze at all?
Yes, it did. Did it a few times.
A few times. It did for me too a couple times. And then I did realize at the end that my online computer backup had been running the whole time. So I think that might have played a part on my side of that going. I don't know if that affected both of us, if that caused both of us to have issues, or just me or just you, but I hit pause on it here just a little bit ago and it's been fine since. So I got to remember that next time, and hopefully that actually does make a difference.
So how's that work? Does it make it a little bit slower? Other things run more
Oh yeah, it'll
use
use like as much of my internet as possible to push backups online for me. So it's just, using up more bandwidth. So anything you can do to clear the pipeline is good.
You always got to protect the bandwidth. That's what I've always said.
That's right. Gotta have that bandwidth.
All right, make sure to catch anything you can from our last drop that's available. The pennant flags, we should still have some. Maybe there's a couple sides of Kind of Fit, Kind of Fat tees. But then we have decent stock on everything, a lot of other things. And we have some cool stuff coming down the pipeline that we can't talk about yet, of course. But stay frosty on that and wait and listen what we've got left. Please leave us a 5-star review if you could on Apple Podcasts. Hit us up with that 5-star review. We're working on getting the road to 500. We desperately want to get 500 podcast reviews, so hit us up there. It's fairly easy, and we would appreciate it. Let a friend know about the podcast. Like us on YouTube, Facebook, all those places. Tommy, where do they find you at?
You can find me at Tomahawk_D.
And you can follow me at Tanner_Baird, but just make sure to follow Massenomics at Massenomics.
See ya.